First things first, how are you?
I'm
We're
fine. How are
fine.
you, Laura?
We're really excited. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, and we have some fun stuff to talk about because you've been very busy the last couple of years. Um, I think to tell the story, we have to talk a little bit about things that aren't so fun. And I want to start with you, Laura, because I find this very interesting. When you decided to move to Antwerp, what was the motivation behind that? And kind of once you got there, the whole world fell apart, it seemed. So how did you
Yeah.
experience that time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I moved to Antwerp with my boyfriend in 2019, just shortly before the whole world collapsed.
Hmm.
Yeah, we were a lot of times in Antwerp already before 2019 city trips, just exploring the city, and we thought it was really nice, and we liked the vibe and the people and the cultural things happening there, and also the music scene. And yeah, we came from Utrecht, and Utrecht is really one of my favorite cities in Holland.
Hmm.
And we thought, okay, we want to move there, but it was like so expensive, everything. And well, my boyfriend is from Utrecht, and he wanted to explore more cities. So I thought, okay, just maybe give it a shot in Antwerp, and we'll see next what's happening. So yeah, we went there to explore the city, to yeah,
Hmm.
to be there and be surrounded with the vibe. But then, as you said, the world stopped for a minute, or yeah, 2 years. And yeah, that was really hard, I would say, because in that time we couldn't do anything, of course, and couldn't build up like a network of friends, or I don't know, like we couldn't dive into the music scene or all the stuff you want to do when you're new in the city. And that was really hard, I would say. Yeah, so it was not easy to
Hmm.
yeah, to be in a new city in a new country. And yeah, so yeah, it was not a great time at first, but yeah.
Sure. And Gregor, for you, how did you experience this time, kind of being isolated in a way, and how did you, the both of you, then started to kind of find the energy or find the motivation to start working on something new?
Yeah, for me, it was also a weird time because both of us we are used to go out and play concerts, and that's
Mm.
the way we make our living. And everything stopped. And also, we never experienced before that we couldn't see each other. That you really you had to fill out forms to justify why you want to pass the border. As we
Sure.
never in our lifetimes ever experienced crossed border closed borders. So that was really weird. And yeah, and also it was, yeah, our first album wasn't so old at that point,
Mm.
but we still couldn't really play any concerts with it. So yeah, we thought we had to begin with something new now, and we started to record like little cover versions of songs that we liked and that we thought we could give them our own flavor in a way. And that's what we did. We did Tenderfoot by Lemonheads, which is also on the new record.
Right.
And we did Jij Wind from Spinfist for the first time ever, like a Dutch song. So that was very interesting. And this really started something for us for the progress to think about, yeah, how could we come up with new recordings for the new record? And later, Laura started writing again, and I started producing again. And yeah, so that's 5 years later, we have the new record now. Fast forward version.
But I can imagine, especially in that, because when all the lockdowns happened and everything, I mean, I could just speak about myself, but it felt a little bit paralyzing in a way where you kind of felt like you had the time to do all this kind of stuff, learn a new language, become good at something, but for some reason there was this mental block in a way. And for you to, and especially for you, Laura, getting into kind of the subject matter of the album, how did you get through this? And how did you, what were the first kind of creative outings that helped you along the way to get this album made?
Uh, Um, So at first I couldn't write anything. So there was, because it was so hard, of course, and there was no input, there was no inspiration, nothing, and so it took a time for me to just sit down, and I had these feelings that I wanted to write. I wanted to express myself, like everything, with everything that was going on, with all the anxiety, with all the losing control, the feelings of powerlessness, everything was there, and I couldn't do it. I was like, okay, I have all these emotions, I have all these feelings, and I don't know what to do with it, but it has to come out in a way. And what really helped a lot for me was stay in contact with Gregor and just write each other, and we called a lot, and on the phone we just stayed like, or we tried to stay positive and calm, and to get each other through it, because we knew that we wanted to make something new again, and we didn't know how. So that was, I think, for me, the starting point, to just sit down and think, okay, I have all these thoughts, I have all these stories, I have all these things that I want to write. How can I do that? And yeah, so little by little, yeah, then it formed like the songs that they are now, and or the lyrics that they are now, not the complete songs, but yeah. So I think that was really helpful for the both of us. That what Gregor also said, we couldn't see each other, so there were close borders. You know, it's so crazy when you think about that, and we never experienced something like that. So yeah, I think to be in contact over the phone, over video calls or whatever, yeah, we stayed sane, I would say. Yeah.
Just as a quick side note before we really delve into the album, can you talk a little bit about the synergy between the two of you? Because as Gregor mentioned before the camera was turned on, you met in Arnhem in the Netherlands, and you've been kind of working together ever since. What makes this partnership so fruitful?
Good question.
I would say it's like
Gregor, what would you say?
the combination of inspiring each other, but also holding each other's backs. So, and also with this record, we really had to find a new way to record, because usually we would be at the same in the same room to write and record, and this time we had to send files to the other person. And this is also very beautiful in the process, because then you really had to find a way to make something that is so good that you are yeah, that you dare to send it to Laura, you know, and the other way around. So you really try to inspire each other. And for me, it was very inspiring, because Laura, the way she recorded the songs, because she always starts with the songs, she writes the lyrics, the melodies, the like, and used to send me these little recordings of her phone memory thing. And now she started to really record really guitar parts with it, and to layer vocals and send me like vocal recordings that are finished, you know, I don't have to change anything. So it was so inspiring to receive these songs, you know, like through email, you know, that was very nice. And I had to come up with something to make something different or better, maybe, or maybe only different about it, and send it back to her to inspire her and get the thing going in a way, you know. So this is like, but I think even before the pandemic, that this was sort of the synergy, that we have to find something that we dare to share with the other person, and we try to, yeah, grow from there together or something, yeah, to make it even better.
Yeah, but I think it was now, like for this record, it was more concentrated in a shorter period of time, because before the pandemic, our first album, the songs were written like over 10 years or something.
Yeah.
And this was really like a concentrated time to write the songs in a couple of years. So yeah, this synergy was already there, but it was now more focused, I think. And that made it more, I don't know, like different. Like I can't say what it is, but it was different. And yeah, different from the first album, I would say. Yeah.
Sure. And Laura, I believe during this time, and I kind of Gregor alluded to it as well, you delved into recording and production techniques and things. So what was it like kind of going into the technical side of everything? And then also, as Gregor mentioned, the idea of getting ideas and sharing them. When it comes to lyrics, that can be quite vulnerable. So what was that like, kind of sharing these personal thoughts of yours with Gregor and then ultimately the listener?
Yeah, I was already used to it to share my personal thoughts with Gregor,
Sure.
but because we're such good friends and we know each other so well, so that was not the difficult part. I think the difficult part for me was to dive into the technical stuff that I didn't know. So of course I asked a lot to other musicians, Gregor, about it, but also my yeah, friends, musicians, and to just I think for me I had a lot of not only okay, I have this idea for the lyrics, I have this idea for melody, for maybe some chords or something. I had a lot of more ideas for the whole production because I just now started to know how to do that, to produce or to yeah, not mix, I would say, but I would say like just to put the tracks together, to record, and to have this whole thing and not just like little parts of okay, here are the lyrics, here are the chords, and just put them together. But this was more like a song already for me, and I noticed that I had a lot of more thoughts and a lot more. I imagined a lot more about from the song already
Mm.
that I didn't have before, I would say. So, and that was also hard because I thought, okay, maybe I can do that and I can do that, and you have a lot of ideas and you have to put them together somehow. And yeah, so that was new for me, but also very challenging and beautiful, I would say, because I came up with a lot more other ideas than I used to. So
Mm.
yeah, and to send it to Gregor, I think what was harder or what was more challenging for me that I thought, okay, normally I just sent what I said, like the lyrics and a little bit of melody, harmony, and that's it. And now it was more like, okay, I have these ideas, I have these things in my head. Do you think is it also that your express or your imagination, or is it also the things that you like about it? So
Mm.
I think that was more challenging for me. Yeah, to to have this like connection with also the production.
Sure. Looking back, and now that the album, I don't know how long it's been finished, but looking back at how the sonics of the album sound, and to me, just listening to it, even though it deals with a lot of difficult and kind of frustrating subjects that we have to deal with in the world, there seems to be a certain calmness about it. Is that fair to say? And what was kind of the approach for the sonic landscape with strings and all those kind of elements? And this open to both.
Um, I would say about the calmness, music for us in general is sort of like a peaceful space. And even if it's aggressive or energetic, then it's only this because this way you can yeah also get rid of these emotions for yourself, you know. And so then there's calmness again. So, and this is like the place where we want to dive in ourselves. So this is maybe why it's calm. It's not because we are calm, but because we need the calmness to stay sane and everything.
Mm.
And about the strings, that's something we really wanted, always wanted to try, you know, to because we're also like big fans of everything like Scandinavian music, maybe in general, and especially Sigur Rós or like other Icelandic
Sure.
bands. And we always loved the idea of putting together like more band music with orchestra. And but the funny thing is, our label really hates the idea. And the
Okay.
last the last record, they always wanted us to keep everything very minimal, and we believed them, and we liked the idea too, and we maybe did also do some strings in it, but we hide them more in the production. And this time we really wanted to, go for it and make the big emotion with the big orchestra, and yeah, that's why. But I would say we didn't use the orchestra for calmness, but more like for the drama, maybe, in
Sure.
Parasite. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Parasite, and that's one of my favorites on the album. So let's delve into that one a little bit. What was the starting point for that one?
I think the lyrics were for my part because it was actually a poem that I wrote also during that time, and at first I didn't want it to make it like a song of it, but then I thought, okay, maybe I can just pull it apart and just look at the pieces, and maybe there's something there for a song. Because I thought the lyrics were so connected to the feeling that I had, that I wanted to put it together as a overall feeling for the record, because it was also that feeling that was part of everything else.
Sure.
And yeah, so I wanted to make a start and just look like just have a beginning of something for a song, and then I just puzzled a little bit with the pieces, and then it became like the lyrics for the song. And yeah, I think I started with actually with more drums, so I just put like a little bit drums in it, but it's also now with drums, but like more up tempo. And guitars and something like that. So it was like really minimal, but the overall feeling was so strong that we thought, yeah, okay, maybe this is the song for the strings. And I was really glad that Gregor, did that or just made that happen, that the strings are there, because of the emotion that is really, really there in the song. And it's really personal. It's the lyrics are personal. The whole feeling is it's really deep, and I think it comes to life with the strings together, and yeah.
I would add that I think, if I remember correctly, this song, your demo, was more like an up-tempo driven song, more like in the vein of Empty or something, where like your emotion was something you really wanted to scream out and not be introvert about it. And I was glad that I could uh, convince you to try it as a ballad. And yeah, because it's such a beautiful ballad, of course, that Laura
Yeah,
wrote there. So yeah.
yeah, and what I like about it as well is obviously that sentiment that I wrote a couple of lines on trying to eat me and feed me with your negativity. That's kind of the inner demons that we all struggle with. But then the line that kind of makes that song for me is still I'm undefeated. So this sparkle of hope. How important was this on this record? Because especially with the whole COVID thing, I struggle with being cynical about the world and all that stuff. So how do you kind of find that glimmer of hope within within everything that's going on?
It's it's good that you mention it, because that was for Parasite really the part in the song that gives the listener hope, I would say.
Mm,
But also it's really integrated in the overall record, I would say,
sure.
that or that we try to put in there, like this little spark of hope, that it's not all gone, and that we have to look forward to hope for a better future, to hope for better times to come, to stay sane, and to so to not fall back in anxiety or fall back in things from the past. So yeah, we tried also with the whole music instrumentation, and also with the lyrics to always have that spark of hope, also in times when it's dark. But it's difficult. It's really difficult. I'm not sure what drives me to say there's always hope, but it's there, I think. Yeah, for sanity, I would say. But I don't know. I don't know what Gregor thinks. It's yeah.
I think in Parasite, if you want to dive into the lyrics, then you're singing that if you talk to the parasite, you say, I will get rid of you. And maybe that you are talking from a position where you feel that somehow you're still in control of the situation. And that is something that maybe could be for the whole idea of the record to say to all of us, maybe we're not at the point yet where it's out of our control. So whatever we can control, we should try to control. But you, Robin, you hear it's for us, it's hard to yeah, give ideas about these things because we don't yeah, we don't think about that too much ourselves. It's more we want to let the art breathe and speak for itself and not dive too much into it. But yeah, maybe there's something to get there somewhere.
Well, that's an interesting point because what kind of role do you think that music can play in not just as a form of escapism, not just as a form of entertainment, but perhaps to inspire people, or what just maybe generally, what kind of role do you think music can play in all of this?
Me myself personally, I receive a lot of energy from it, from art in general, and I would even go so far to tell you that I couldn't really live without it, and I really think it's better than reality. So I prefer living within music or art. So I need it for myself, and I know other people feel the same, and we try to make this offer to them to join us in this sort of metaphysical room where we could all meet and yeah. But I think it's not only escapism, of course, because with this energy we get from it, we can try to yeah do better things here in reality, and of course that's what we try too. But it's hard, and I don't really know if music or art can play a bigger role than this, because this is already a big role, but if it can
Sure.
be even bigger, I don't really know. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
for me it's the
yeah.
same, I would say. Yeah.
And just getting back to the hope thing, then is that where the title "The Kids Are All Right" comes from, or is that kind of a tongue-in-cheek concern about the youth these days, where they've been faced with so many difficult things already, and they're just still so young?
I think you already said it right. It's the both of them.
Okay.
Or that was at least the first thought we had. Our inner child, our personal growth, anxiety, our journey, that kind of thing. But also like everything that's going on in the world. And exactly what you said, like, yeah, the future, the youth, what future do they have? And what can we do? And just not be quiet about it. Yeah. So that was our first thought for the kids are all right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've one last question before we round off, but in the beginning of the interview, we kind of talked about that period during lockdowns when basically your livelihood was taken from you, where music was not possible, at least to outwardly share it. Um, Now that we're back into some sense of normalcy, at least on that front, what is the ambition now? You have now a new album. Hopefully, you have a good spirit to get back on the road and everything. So what is the ambition at the moment?
Should I
Ooh.
answer? Oh, yeah, it's a hard one, of course, because you know it's coming out on Friday, the record, and we waited for this so long. So at this point, it really feels like a big party, and you sort of, yeah, you're nervous who will show up or who will react and how the people will like it maybe, or how you will feel, because for the first time you can always, yeah, you can also listen to it yourself with the idea of other people listening to it, which changes the thing for yourself as well. And but don't think we listen to our music ourselves so much, but still we are more at the point now where the record needs to come out, and then we can think of new stuff also artistically. But we really love music videos still, so I think we would try to find ways to give attention to songs from this album that wouldn't get the attention otherwise. So we might shoot more videos or do like live stuff to, yeah, to give also like Parasite for something because it is not a single. We would still like a lot of people to hear it. So yeah,
Sure.
I think maybe that's something we would dive more into now, Laura. Or what do you think?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Would be nice.
And yeah, and maybe with a whole orchestra, a live
Oh wow, yeah,
Parasite, that would be nice. Yeah.
yeah,
That sounds amazing.
wow, yeah.
All right, may I thank you both for taking the time to talk with me and to chat about the album.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Robin.
Robin. It was really nice.